You try making a point. Pause before the main point. Stress the important words. Use falling intonation. Then listen and repeat.
Don't forget, time is money.
Here's the bottom line. We should all work together.
So my advice is, don't wait. Let's get started now.
Why is this important? Because our city needs tourists.
What's the main problem? Money.
This is probably a good time to talk about syllable stress within words. I once had a student who gave a presentation about the world water crisis. An important word in the speech was desert, the area of land without water. The only problem was that he pronounced it dessert, what we eat after dinner. So here are some things you can do. Write a list of the most important words in your presentation, especially words in your topic, your introduction, and your main points. Then check an electronic or an online dictionary for pronunciation. Mark the stressed syllables in your notes. Ask for help if you know someone with good English pronunciation to record the words for you. Listen and practice them in your sentences. When we give talks, sometimes we assume that everyone knows what we do. For example, if I talk about ELT, do you know what I mean? Probably not. I have to explain. ELT stands for English Language Training. But even then, some of my colleagues use ELT to stand for English Language Teaching. The point is that it's important to be clear. This is also important because you may pronounce the abbreviation differently than people are used to. To explain an abbreviation, use the expression stands for or is short for. CEO is short for Chief Executive Officer. You can also introduce the meaning with a phrase like that is. CIO, that is Chief Information Officer, is my title. Sometimes abbreviations are spoken as words and other times as letters. For example, in my field, our International Professional Association is called Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages. That's really long, isn't it? So we just say TESOL. That's called an acronym. Letters that are pronounced as a word. But with ELT, English Language Training, we pronounce each letter. That's called an initialism. With an initialism, the last initial has the most stress. So we say IT, IBM, the US. Let's look at a couple of other examples. You may study in a MOOC. So what's a MOOC? It's a massive open online course. So is the word MOOC an acronym or an initialism? What do you think? It's an acronym. But what about something that you might study, like an MBA? Is that an acronym or an initialism? It's an example of initialism. Next, I'm going to talk about a very common feature of conversation, which is fillers. A filler is a sound or word that fills in a space. A filler like or can be okay in between sentences. Let me see, okay, here's an example. But fillers can be very distracting, even irritating to your audience if you use them in the middle of phrases. So you know this is what I mean, it's a good thing. It's like, a big problem. So you see what I mean. We use fillers a lot in everyday informal conversation, but they do not help you appear professional and definitely should not be a part of a presentation. Most of the time, we're not even aware how often we say these words. So here are some ideas for controlling them in your speech. First of all, you have to identify them. You could ask your friends to listen to you for 1 minute and raise a finger or say ding or something every time you use that filler. Another possibility is to record yourself having a conversation in English. Then write exactly what you said and circle any of the sounds or words you use as fillers. Are they between phrases or sentences, or are they in the middle of phrases? How many are you using? Then, here are some ideas for controlling them. With a friend or in a recording, try to speak for 15 seconds without using any fillers. I heard of one person who slapped herself every time she used one. Another idea is to think of a word like think every time you want to use a filler. Basically, slow down and think in silence. Don't be afraid of silence. Use silence as a pause when you would normally use a filler.